Hey guys, how you doing? It's Andy Elliott. Look, I'm going to start out with a little simple formula that I use, and I'm going to keep this video pretty quick here. It's going to be something that'll be a game changer in your store right now. But before I get into this, do me a favor. I want you to comment below. This is very important to me. I'm getting a ton of emails that are coming to me, and I'm answering people, and I'm helping them out, and I'm trying to make sure that you guys get everything you need to become the best salesman in the world. But let's do this. Comment below. Whatever it is that you have, I'm positive there's someone sitting in another store that's probably going through that same thing. So let's make sure we help them, and then I'll help you too. That way together, I believe that we can all become the best. I'll share this with you before I go into this formula. My #1 goal is literally to pay it forward. I want you guys to become the best salespeople ever. So increase your skill sets. Just in the last month, I've been putting out a ton of training videos since I've gotten back into training. I have seen people taking pictures of their paycheck stubs, sending them to my email, saying, Andy, I made $4,000 the month before I started using your training. I made $8,500 last month. I've got a guy that sold 8 cars off Craigslist in 1 week. Guys, he was a 13-car hand. Think about it. Now he could be a 40-car hand, and he's changing the game because why? Because he's believing in himself, he's investing in himself, and he's using the training. And remember, the way skills build is by repetition. So by watching a video, it won't change anything. If you see something that I use and you're like, man, I'm going to use that or I'm going to try that, that's not going to cut it. You have to learn it. And you have to build that into your own skill set, and then guess what? Now you can go use it, and you use it properly. Look, there could be one salesman over here, right? That will like, I'll try something and see if it works. And there's another guy over here that bought in, and then guess what? He's practiced it at home 15, 20 times a day for a week straight. And then when someone says, hey, I need to think about it, or something happens, guess what? He's like, bam! And then you know what? He closes the deal. And this guy over here is saying, oh, that didn't work. And this guy over here is making more money. Look, you can complain and make excuses, or you can build your best life now. So do me a favor, comment below on any problems that you're having, even if it doesn't have anything to do with this video, and I promise you I'll answer and I'll get back with you, or I'll make us a video, okay? If there's any objection out there that we haven't put a video out yet, that maybe you're having a problem overcoming, I'll come up with something just like that. That way you can keep growing. Most of the time our managers, they don't know how to close these deals. They don't know how to close the tough ones. They just tell you to go get another customer. Guys, I'm not about losing any sale. Every dollar counts. So the formula that I'm going to go over today, it's going to have a lot to do, to start out with stop selling and start closing. So I see a lot of salesmen that sell all the way through the sale. And even through the negotiating part, they're still selling. It's like they're still trying to put benefits and features and benefits and features, and then how it's worth it and how it's worth it and how much value that it has. Listen guys, I'm going to tell you, closers are 10 steps past that. Yeah, they were salesmen at one point. They're the best salesmen in the world, but now they're also closers. And let me explain what I mean. So I see a salesman, okay? And I'm going to use this just as an example to help you understand exactly what a closer does. So salesman, he'll go and let's say a customer comes into the store and they find a vehicle they want to buy, and he writes up the deal and they have a trade-in. The salesman does what? Now I want you to think about where you're at right now. The salesman grabs a trade-in card. He goes and fills out the information off the trade-in. He goes and literally may walk around the car, maybe even walked around it with the customer, right? Let's say he's an advanced salesman. And then he takes it and he goes and hands it to his manager. And then what happens? He goes back inside, sits down with the salesman, till his manager pages him and said, hey, I've got your deal ready. And then he takes the sheet down and then he goes and works his customer. Now, it's that salesman's job to defend the pencil if the customer says, I want more for my trade. It's his job to handle that objection. If the customer says the payment's too high, it's his job to handle that objection. If they say the price is too high or they do anything, that salesman's job is to defend the pencil and collect their money for their family and for the company. Okay? So watch this. That was the salesman process. The closer process is completely different. And ask great questions, get great answers. Watch this. So where does the closing start to happen? It happens from the first second that we meet you. But where does it happen in this situation? When the car deal's getting wrote up and the salesman does what? He's going to get the trade appraisal card. Here's what he does. I go outside. This is for me. This is before the appraisal. and I get something to write on, whether I have I always carry a blank piece of paper with me and a pen, but maybe you write it on the back of your trade appraisal card. This is for you. You'll know this if you've been watching some of my videos. My number way of training is based off money justification. That's how I close all my deals. I don't get into that up to, no more than, meet me in the middle, reward yourself, your wife's worth it. I don't get into that crap that these other guys go into at other car dealerships. I use money justification to close my deals. I close them strong, my customers are happy, I make all the money, they bring me cookies and pies, and that's it. I love that life. So I've chosen the method of negotiating until that no more money is there to turn in, and I'll explain what I mean. So before the appraisal, and I write this down, I call this the setup. Now, what is a setup? It's pretty simple. So I sit down with the customer and say, hey, listen, so I'm not the one that appraises these vehicles. Now, obviously, who's got the best rapport with these people? Me, right? Now, they know that I don't run the show. I'm not the manager. I'm their salesperson. So what do I say to them? I say, hey, look, my GM, my manager, he's awesome. And he loves giving top dollar for the vehicles that have been serviced the best, okay? So what I would like to do here, this is the setup. Get your pen, get your paper, write this down. What I like to do is this. I like to share with my GM and my manager all the things that you've done to your vehicle within the last 2 years. That way I can share it with them and make sure I get you top dollar for your vehicle. He loves vehicles that have been serviced the best. So guess what? What is your customer doing now? They're saying, okay, well, we put new tires on it, right? Okay, awesome. And when did you put those on? And roughly how much were your tires? $800. Okay, cool. And anything else? Yeah, we did. We put a windshield in. Okay, cool. So new windshield, how much was that? $300. Okay, awesome. And then anything else? Well, we ended up replacing the alternator and the battery. We did that last Christmas. Okay, how much was that? That was about $900. Okay, awesome. Cool, so I've got all this stuff done. I appreciate it. Look, I'm going to let him know what all you've done to your vehicle. He's going to go drive it now and check it out, and then I'll be right back with you, and we'll rock and roll. Now watch this. What did I do? I gathered some great information, okay? Closer information. Now watch this. Did the salesman gather that? No. He just kept selling, kept moving. Now slow down for a minute. It's called the setup. Number 2, drive the trade-in. I want to tell you this, okay? Most of you guys are handing the keys to your manager and letting them drive the car and then come back. Guys, I like to know what they've done to their vehicle within the last 2 years, but I also like to know what needs to be done to it right now, okay? So this is my money. If you're getting paid 25% commission, 30% commission, 35%, whatever you get, guys, every dollar you hold, you talk about at the end of the month, you want to make more money, right? But guess what? You're giving up 500 here, 500 there, 500 here, 500 there. At the end of the month, man, you're missing $4,000 or $5,000 off your check because out of 20 working days in the month, you've been giving up money the whole time. Guys, stop giving that good money up. Okay, so watch this. When it comes time to drive the trade, jump in with your manager and go drive it with him. Okay? You need to figure out what is wrong with that vehicle. Secondly, if you're okay with it, I used to drive my own trades. Now my GM would bid them, but I would take them right down the service road, fly it right back in. I'd have the heater turned on or the AC for him, and I would hand him the keys and say, all right, now you go drive it. Because I had to find out exactly what was wrong with it. Now with that being said, now I've got all the stuff they've done to it within the last 2 years. Now I've also got all the things that need to be done to it now. Now the way that I close is based off money justification. Guys, how much ammo do I have in my arsenal? Tons. Negotiation starts. Manager puts out the proposal. I take the worksheet. I go down and I'm sitting knee to knee with the customer. And as I present it, you know what happens? He says, Andy, I want more for my trade-in. Let's just say that happens. Well, this is simple. Well, let's talk about some of the things that need to be done now. And guess what? I'm there. If I talk about, let's just say they say, the payment's too high. And they're like, man, there's no way I can afford that payment. Well, they told me they spent $2,000 on it within the last year. The tires, the windshield, the alternator, the battery, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff that they spent, that $2,000. Look, I'm going to tell you this. I'm sitting there looking at their trade-in. They got a $300 payment on, right? My car they're buying is $450, and they're wanting to be at the same payment. Well, guess what? Last year, they had a $300 payment that they made to the bank, yes. But if I took the $2,000 that they spent out of pocket on all the maintenance and repairs, divide that by 12 months in a year, guess what? That's basically $150, $160 a month just in a small maintenance payment. So guys, how can you afford to buy your new car? How can you afford not to? You've been paying $450 for the last year on your other vehicle. Look, you work hard for your money and you put your money in the bank, right? And the money that left out of the bank was $300 for the payment and $150 a month for the maintenance. You just told me that yourself just a minute ago. Guys, you've been paying $450 all last year anyways. And guess what? You had an older model in your driveway, you had a higher mile car, and now you got a brand new one over here. Guys, doesn't it make complete sense to trade it super affordable? Yes, you're not even going up in budget. You've been paying that already. And how do I know that? Because I found it out during the setup. So you see how money justification works? The best salesmen in the world, sometimes the difference between salesmen and closers is closers ask great questions. They get great answers. And they use those answers strategically to do what? To get ready when there's a close. And as I know, when the negotiation starts, closers close quickly. How fast did I close this deal? Quickly. And then guess what? I close it for all the money. So I make myself good money. My customer loves me. Did I lie to him? No. Matter of fact, guess what? I didn't even have to use a hypothetical, the national average, what it costs to maintain a vehicle. They already told me what they were spending. How much more beautiful is that? And this is going on in all of your stores. Right now, when people come to buy, the trade cycle is about 60 to 70% of the time. So 60 to 70% of the time somebody has a trade, can we be using this 60 to 70% of the time? Absolutely. And guess what? Instead of having that 30% closing ratio, how about taking it to 50 or 60? It's there. There's guys right now that are emailing me that are changing their lives and making, honestly, 2 to 3 times more than what they were making within 1 month. Guys, winter's coming. Get your skill set together. The difference between where you are now and where you want to go is the gap in your skill set. Become a great salesman, absolutely. But if the salesman is the place you want to be, guys, closer, then master closer. Okay? Salesmen over here, they negotiate down every single time. They didn't do their little write-up. They didn't set it up. They didn't find out the information on the trade-in. They didn't drive it, right? Didn't go with their manager. However it is set up in your store, they didn't do the things that I just told you to do that the best closers in the country are doing, the guys that are making $300,000 and $400,000 a year happily. Guess what? They didn't do that stuff. So you know what? They negotiate down. The guy wanted to be at $300, the guy that's paying $300 a month that says, hey, I want to be at the same payment I'm paying now. He's in there. He didn't know how much they spent the last year on their car. He didn't know what their car needs now. And he's just like, would you do more? Would you do more, guy? Isn't the car worth it? Can't you see where it's worth paying more? Guys, is that a joke? Take this video. This formula I just gave you is a game changer. And it's free. Guys, I have 1,000,000 closes. I'm going to teach them all to you. But if you take even just one of the closes that I give you, and you don't practice it over and over and over and over again, you will not get any better. So watching the video doesn't make you a better salesman. This isn't the training. The training is watching this video 15 times over. And then you record yourself. And I want you to see yourself doing it the same way. And if you can do it that way, then you're able to take it out into the field and use it in your arsenal, and your skill set will increase, and your paycheck's going to go through the roof. So I want you guys to have a great day. It's awesome meeting you. And remember this. Put the comments below. A, on maybe something you thought about on the video. Hey, if you loved it, let's crush it. Make sure you subscribe. But 2, anything that you need help with, if I hadn't covered it, put it down below. And you can always go to the Elliott group and subscribe. Guys, there's over 40 videos in there right now. Over 25 of those are new ones I just put out right now in 2019, 2020. Fresh car salesman training, mindset, just strategic closing, everything. Have a blessed day. See you guys.